Hello, welcome to Irons United for a Q&A session. Yeah, I am live here. Look at that. West Ham Q&A. That's professional graphics for you, isn't it? Right, so look, I'm just going to be speaking to you, inviting you along to join in the chat. Ask any questions. If you want to come on the video with me and discuss a few things for a couple of seconds, whatever, you just get in touch. You know, we can do that. No problem at all. I was going to put up an email here, but I've actually forgotten it. I've forgotten where it is. But anyway, it's I will put that up in a minute. It's ironsunited1@gmail.com. There we go. It's come up right now. So if you want to come on the video with us here and have a little chat and just give us your point of view on whatever is going on with West Ham right now, email us and then we'll send you the link to the video and then you can come on and have a chat. Right, so hopefully the sound is coming through okay. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear me loud and clear, and if you can't, take the cotton wool out your ears. That's all I can say. Right, thank you. Sound is perfect. Thanks very much. Right, good. Now, first of all, I think the white elephant in the room is got to be these season ticket renewals, isn't it? It's all been all over Twitterville, and everybody's been losing their minds over it. We've got some breaking news today, of course, about the third option now, the third option from the club, which is basically saying that we can either pay a 6% for installments. You can pay £30 up front, or you can defer payment by either paying a certain amount. Now I'm just trying to see. I'm going to try and bring it up for you exactly what it is. There we go. So the third option now, you can secure your seat for larger home crowds. Alternatively, season ticket holders who are hesitant about returning to matches during this time can opt to secure their seat by making a part payment of 30% on their season ticket cost. But then you lose some of your rights, you know, to enter the ballot and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it just smacks me of being just another nail in the coffin of club fan relations. You know, and no wonder people are going absolutely crazy. I mean, I think they've come out with this third option because of the overwhelming reaction that lots of people have had. But let's know your thoughts. Let's know your thoughts on this. This thing about the season ticket renewals. I'm still on the fence, actually. I've got to be honest, whether I'm going to renew mine and my lads. I'm sure I will, but I don't know which way I'm going to go yet. I don't know whether I'm going to go for this third option now or just go use all the club cash. I've got to see. I've got to read into it. So any of you guys know more about this? I saw on a message from the club yesterday saying that any club cash held before June 2020, I believe, was not, you couldn't be using that anymore, or it couldn't be refunded. Maybe I've misread it, but if anybody knows more about that, then please let us know. Here we go. So we've just got it on the screen for you, exactly, so you can read that yourself. Look, I mean, it's a bit of a farce, isn't it? It's a bit of a farce the way this has gone on, and I think whilst all the clubs are fighting for survival on one form or another, and because, you know, revenues have gone down because of no crowds coming in, West Ham have always been in the kind of privileged position, I suppose, is one way of looking at it, financially, I should say, by moving to the London Stadium. And this is a whole point about moving to the London Stadium, because we haven't got the mass overheads. We're just paying for the stadium. You know, the taxpayer is footing the bill, really. You know, and we're still having problems financially. You know, there must have been some penalties with the TV money, but I don't think so, because actually they were all shown on TV. So that was, you know, we're still coming to the point where, it blew up yesterday on Twitter, I think a couple of days ago, where fans were reacting to the notion that we have to sell or may have to sell some of our better players to fund new purchases. And I kind of think, well, actually, hold on a minute. What about selling those better players that don't really perform for us? Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Because if we're going to sell the likes of Haller or Anderson or stuff like that, and players like that, then maybe that's a good way to fund these new players. And maybe, we shouldn't be always looking at the club, Gold, Sullivan, and Brady, but the club to just keep on pouring money into players. Now, one of the things I want to look at here is what financial position is the club in? Why are we always having this cash flow chaos? Look at this. I've even got a special graphic for you. Look at that. Cash flow chaos. Look at that. And it seems to be happening year in, year out. We have a couple of seasons where they seem to invest a bit of money. Then all of a sudden, we seem to be backpedaling again. I think it's always the same, isn't it? We have this impression that we're in the Premier League and that there's going to be millions upon millions of TV money coming in. We're at the London Stadium, but we don't get all the revenue from the London Stadium as well. So what I think commercially, I think it's only about 4 or 5 million a year that we're getting. So we're not getting a great deal of money. I mean, my figures could be off there, but in the grand scheme of things, commercially, we're not doing that great. But because London Stadium take a hefty wad of what comes in as well. So we're always scrapping around for cash. So it's no wonder that we need to sell players. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea if those players aren't performing for us as well. The problem is if we're selling our best players who are performing well, like Declan Rice, who is now the Hammer of the Year. Of course, look at this. Here's look at that one. Hey, Hammer of the Year, Declan Rice. I've got to say, whilst well deserved, I think that for me slipped under the radar a little bit. I kind of was eyes on a Bonner myself, and maybe a cheeky Antonio to come in at last minute. But well deserved, and for Declan Rice, of course, welcome. Right, but look, there's lots of things to talk about. I'm going to be talking about obviously Declan Rice. I'm going to be talking about the players that might be leaving, might be coming in. This cash flow. Chaos that seems to be always around the club. The season tickets, we'll touch a little bit more about that. Apparently there's been fan meetings, OSB meetings with everybody with the club as well. I'd like to know what's been going on there. I'd like to know why fans aren't being sent emails directly, season ticket holders, let's say, directly to ask them their input. Let's have a Q&A session. Let's have a questionnaire sent out to all the fans. Why can't that be done? Why does there have to be a meeting that, I've got to say, look, I sit here in front of you discussing, talking things. We have the channel where we're discussing, talking things. But we don't speak for West Ham fans. I don't speak for any other West Ham fan. And I kind of think sometimes that we have these fan meetings, but who are they really speaking for? I don't know. I've met a few people, but they don't really speak for me. Do they? They may think they speak for me, but they don't. Do they speak for you? I don't know. And Gold, Sullivan, and Brady, the toxic trio there. I mean, what are they doing? What are they doing now? What are they going to be doing in the summer? What are they going to be doing this time next year? I mean, there's lots to talk about. So, look, we're going to go into the fans, your comments as well, but I'm just going to quickly rifle through them and say hello to you all. But for West Ham, Dalek Emperor, what a great name. Hello there. Words and Pictures, always good to see you here. Pete Chapman, good evening. And scrolling through. Oh, Kay Johnson, hello. Brian Esparza, hello. And more. Neil from Down Under, always a pleasure. And Lee Ansell, hello there, hello. And that's about it, right? Okay, so look, there's lots going on. I'm just going to kind of go in reverse order here. But what? Let's just talk about this season ticket renewals. Why are we being given these options in the first place? What is the deal? What is the deal when we're actually going to be paying for season tickets, whether on, for whichever option you're going to go for? But why are we even paying for season tickets when there's no matches for us to attend? That's the whole point. You're having a season ticket to attend matches. So, then you got to ask the question, well, you got people on this waiting list. Well, how many of those are going to want to jump at the chance to get a season ticket if they're offered one? Because so many people, let's say, are just going to leave. What, why? I don't fully understand the logic here. I don't fully understand what the whole purpose of this these three options for the season tickets is. Either you say, right, okay, everybody, you're going to have your season tickets renewed. Just indicate that your season tickets are renewed, and then when we're allowed to allow fans back in, then you'll be charged a pro rata fee. Or you say, right, okay, what we'll do, we're going to charge you full price for your season ticket. That's what we're going to do. But for every game, you're going to get that money refunded. So it will knock it down. So the second question is then, well, lots of people might be in, some financial issues right now. Of course, it's happening all over the world. Should they have kept the prices as they are? Should they have reduced them? Lots of questions. And I think all comes back down to fan relations again. Lots of people bemoaning about the club and how bad it is. Look, we know that. We know it's. Look, if you ever under any illusion that the club really values you as a supporter, I think that's long gone. I think that went out the window when the money started pouring in. I don't think they value us. I think that the clubs only value fans when they start dropping down the divisions. That's when they start valuing fans, because they need the fans so much because they're not getting any TV revenue. So as soon as fans go, or clubs drop into the Championship and then certainly into League One, that's when you know that the club really needs the fans, because the fans will always be there. Maybe not always in body, but certainly in spirit. Oh yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Look, Kay Johnson, here we go. I wouldn't sell Haller. He's crying out for a Danny Ings, Callum Wilson type of player to play next to him. Yeah, I mean, Danny Ings, I'd love to see him there. I mean, he's been brilliant, hasn't he, for Southampton? I can't see him leaving Southampton. They've been on a good run of form. Callum Wilson, do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Bournemouth make some, get rid of some of their players. I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be interesting, actually. If they do sell some of their players, where those players went, would they even stay in England? Would they, go off into Europe? But would any of the Premiership teams take them? I think they would, actually. I think they would. Bournemouth they've got a lot of great players, Bournemouth. But the interesting thing is that they had a horrific injury list this season, and that's partly one of the reasons why they just didn't do so well. Now, obviously, they're wanting to take this further because of Hawkeye missed a goal from Sheffield United against Aston Villa, and that opens up a whole can of worms. Well, who are they going to sue? Can they get points back? But then again, how far back into the season can you start claiming all these things? I don't know. There's got to be some ruling out there. But look, I mean, the thing is here, if we as fans truly want to support our club, does that mean that we will be willing to pay whatever we can afford? And if the season ticket prices haven't changed, they haven't changed in their cost, then it shouldn't be any different from last year, should it? if it's a case of just wanting to buy your season tickets. But everybody, well, certainly from the club, they seem to be missing the point here. Is that, well, you're buying season tickets to go and see games, to be part of the atmosphere, to have that match day experience, not to be treated like some kind of mug, and certainly not to not be able to see any games. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. We've got Nigel in. Good evening, Nigel. Here we say, he said, should fan groups together to say if 100% of fans can't go, none should go, all in or none in. That's an interesting point. I've been thinking that very much my same today, actually. I've been thinking very much the same. You know, should we as fans say, right, we're going to boycott the games? Nobody goes until the government can actually make this 100% safe and 100% fair for all fans. Then nobody should go in. No fan should go into any stadium. And this ballot system, what one person can go in, one person can't. Look, and also I was saying to our guys here as well about the whole season tickets, about this ballot system when it's being implemented, September, October, whenever it is. What a farce this is. What a farce. Because they seem to be forgetting actually what a bum fight is to actually get into the stadium and also to come out of it as well. When people all crowded together. So you're not going to have social distance in there. There's no way people, fans are going to be able to social distance away from each other. So it's just a nonsense. So if you can implement this kind of social distancing of fans within the stadium by seating, then there's no point in having any fans there in the first place. You might as well just wait until we can all go in and be done with it. But anyway, Anthony Baker, good evening, Anthony. How are you? Claret and Blue Army TV. Hello, sirs. How are you there? I'd pay 50% more if the club came out and told me how it would be invested. Well, I mean, look, that's an interesting thing. If I had a pack of cards, I would be holding them very close to my chest. I'm sure they do exactly the same, wouldn't they? Look, end of season fans forum or written year plan from chairman would help. Yeah, look, absolutely. I think we're talking about transparency here, aren't we? That's what we want. We want transparency from the club. We want transparency at every quarter. And look, I want transparency. As a West Ham fan, I want transparency from every angle. Whether it be a fan group, whether it be a YouTube channel, whether it be, a podcast, whether it be meetings with the board, players, whatever. I want it transparent. I want to know exactly what's going on. I don't necessarily think I should know what a player is earning, but we kind of do. I don't necessarily need to know the contract terms of a player, but we need to know, as an open book, the finances of the club. We need to know how our club is being run or managed or mismanaged. Now, this is going to be my next point really about David Moyes, but is David Moyes the right person? But crucially, is David Moyes the right person to sort out the mess that's going on behind the scenes? In his first stint, he actually identified some massive errors going on. Maybe he's doing it again, and maybe he is the right man during the summer to fix a lot of the problems. But you're right, transparency. Claret Blue Army TV. Oh, and if they actually delivered the plan, well, exactly. I mean, look, we could go on and on about the stadium move and the promises and the all that kind of stuff. And I could go until I'm blue in the face here. But look, this is exactly right. The point is that the move was made. The finance, we should have been in a better financial situation by being in the Premier League and have reduced operating costs so that all this could be invested in the club, in players, I should say. But the problem is, as we know, players' wages, salaries are just crazy. We're probably paying over the top for average players still. Our wage bill is so high. The TV money's still coming in. We're not making a lot out of commercial from the stadium, so we're still not in a great position. So you kind of think, forget about our performances in the league for the last 4 seasons, which has just been not good enough, then you can think, well, what's the point of the move? What's the point of the move? Okay, we've got 60,000 fans or so, that can come in. Great, but we're no better off. No better off. Kane Johnson. If you have a record of previously purchasing season tickets, then you should be discounted. Yes. If you have never purchased a season ticket, then no discount should be available. See, that's an interesting one, actually. It's an interesting one, I think. But then you're kind of giving 2 tiers, aren't you? You're starting to have a 2-tier system of fans that have already had season tickets and those who desperately want to become a season ticket holder. Let's not get into this situation where just because you're a season ticket holder, whether you only go to home games or away games, that somehow you're some kind of better fan than somebody else. Reasons. Lots of it is financial, lots of it is geography. They just don't live in the same country, or they have other issues going on, other family issues, whatever, work issues, that they can never get to games. And that I was in exactly that position for many, many years, But it's a good point, Kane. Actually, that's a very good point as to whether existing season ticket holders should be giving some kind of gratuity, I suppose, the word I'm looking for, or some kind of they should be handled a lot better by the club. It almost reminds me of, let's say, when you sign up for a Sky deal or a BT package or something like that, and then they have you for a year or so, and then the next year they keep on putting your prices up. But a new customer that comes along, all of a sudden they get a much better deal because they want their business, so they give them a much better deal. But you as an existing customer, you actually are worse off a lot of the time. It's usually better to leave and then rejoin. Take insurance for your car or your motorbike, or whatever, your house. It's exactly the same there. Maybe that's something that should be going on as well, but there we go. Anthony, there we go. Hold on, I've lost everybody. Anthony, there we go. No. Alf, do you think realistically fans will be back in the stadiums come October? No, I don't think that. Not all fans, definitely not all fans. And I think I've made my feelings known about this having a split fan base, going in on a ballot system. I just don't like it. I just don't like not whilst I stand in well, I'm supposed to be seated, but I don't. I stand in the same position last season because I moved down from the heavens from where I was before. Whilst there are familiar faces to me around there, so I kind of know all those. Well, I don't know, but there are familiar faces to me. But all of a sudden, having big gaps around me, it just wouldn't work. And then all of a sudden, if I had to start saying that I couldn't bring my lad along, I think that would do it for me. I just couldn't do it. Yeah, so I'm more for letting all fans go in when it's safe. January, February, whatever it is. Yeah, words and pictures. Nice of you to turn up, Anton. Hey, let's not pick on Anton. He's had a hard day today. He's had lots of paper clips to count. Ian Barron, hello, Revelator Alpha. It's the Mad Darlington FC back. Hope you are well, Ian. Lovely to have you here. You've got to excuse me. I don't know how Darlington did this season, but I hope they did well. Yeah, Barron, there we go. Right. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Yarmolenko? You finish? Are you finished? No. There are season ticket holders in other countries. Right now, England is a no travel zone. How long will COVID last and then Brexit? I don't know when I will get to my next West Ham game. Look, that's a very valid point. We do have a strong contingent of overseas fans that travel in. Yeah, I mean, exactly. How are they going to travel in? It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely a crazy situation. I mean, what's happened now? People have actually gone over to Spain for a holiday in the UK, and then they just realised actually come back they have to stay in quarantine now. it's going to be a right mess. I heard this morning that the government are saying that if you've travelled and you have to stay in quarantine, you're not entitled to any statutory sick pay here in the UK, which is actually so. You could have a similar kind of situation. You want to go and see your club, then all of a sudden, or your team play, then all of a sudden something happens. You have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. Let's not forget, people, that there is no vaccine here. So whilst it's at home or in work, we can social distance. When you're in a football stadium, you can't. So if the only way to let fans back in is to, all stood like this, shoulders away from each other, nah, that's no good. That's no good for me. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. If you want to travel, long distances, you got to think long and hard. Whether you're going to really want to do that. Walter Tanner, you just said the fan groups don't speak for you, and yet you want to speak for the fans. No, I don't want to speak for the fans, Walter. I don't know where you've got that from. I'm giving you my opinion, and I'm talking to you. So don't twist my words there, fella. I don't want to speak for any fans at all. Kent Hammers, hello there, hello. Irons United, we don't want to speak for the fans. Yeah, absolutely right. I don't know where you got that from. You might have to come back on and clarify your position there, fella. Right, Ian. Hi, and no. Oh yeah. Hi, Darlington FC. Thanks. Yes, there we go. I don't know why this is a West Ham channel, really. There we go. Metal in both legs. Hello there. How are you? Nothing is ever going to be anywhere near fair ever again. Do you know what? You sometimes get that way, don't you? You sometimes think that actually this has been going on for years and years, of course, but you do think every year something else comes up. Every year something else happens to destroy or to erode away that closeness that you have with the club and the fans. And then you think, is it really worth it? I mean, I had a big falling out with West Ham many years ago over the bond scheme. And I wouldn't say I lost love of the club. I just felt myself distance away from it. And I kind of kept away from regular games and all that sort of stuff, and then I was moved abroad, so I couldn't get to any games as well, so that all changed. Then I came back and I wanted to go and see games, but it just didn't feel right. It just didn't sit right. And then I started taking my lad again, and then so we all got back into the swing of it. But there is an erosion taking place, and year in, year out, there seems to be. And I think years ago, I said, look, I said to myself, there's no point in being so het up about this kind of thing, because the club just don't care about you. The club, a club. I thought things were changing when we first had the Icelandics in the Icelandic mob. I thought things were changing. Obviously, we knew what happened there. Not necessarily all of their own making, but financially, it was a crazy time. But I think what's happened since Galton and Brady have come in, what's happened to the fans, the fan relation, it doesn't leave a bitter taste in the mouth. It just leaves a bitter, a black mark on the soul, if you know what I mean. I don't want to get too dark about this anyway. Right. Kay Johnson, Ian Barron, this isn't Sunday League football shout out TV, so this is Premier League business. Yeah, absolutely right. No, this is not Premier League business. This is West Ham business. West Ham business. There we go. Kane Johnson. Right. Watford. Which players? Okay. Doucouré. Sarr. Not bad, actually. I do like those two players. De La Feo I like as well. Norwich. Lewis and Godfrey. Bournemouth. Ake's defender, I think. Yes, Ake, if I'm reading you right there. Yeah. Good player. I think he was injured for a lot of the season. So because Moyes, apparently this is where they're having a tussle now, apparently behind the scenes. It's whether they really invest all the money in defense, or left back, right back as well, or whether they just kind of go for more strikers as well. I would assume, but Ake, I would take him. Yeah. Anthony Baker, we've got Who was it? Oh yeah, Anthony Baker. Yeah, he travels from Scotland. And Percy don't fancy the travel on the train. Well, that's it. That's the other thing. I mean, interestingly, I was in London yesterday. I sort of travelled in from Reading, and actually the trains are all empty. The tubes are all empty, all times a day. Yeah, it's a little bit busy around the centre, Oxford Street type thing. But actually, most people were keeping their distance, so it wasn't that bad. But obviously, football, big crowd events is a different thing as well. Look, interesting point from man in the chat here, Irons United, saying, as this coronavirus or COVID-19 changed football forever, it's certainly changed it in the meantime, hasn't it? And I think this is the way it's going to be for a long period of time. The fact of the matter is that clubs need fans. Well, let's put it this way. They don't need fans. They need fans' money. That's what they need. They need fans' money. I think they've proven that the game can still carry on without fans present, but it's just not the same. So, and it's obviously certainly for the fans, it isn't the same as well. You want to go to the games. You want to give your nearest and dearest that experience. You want to meet your friends, all that kind of stuff. So, we need the game. We need the match day experience as fans. The club needs our income, needs us to attend, support, and spend money. I mean, and that's the arrangement. That's a contract, isn't it? If you like, between fan and club. Looking forward, Nitsua A. I think Nitsua. I hope I pronounced that right. Looking forward to the Leeds away games. Yeah, look, there's going to be some good. West Brom. We'll be looking forward to that with Slav as well. Be looking forward to that. Here we go. Right, metal in both legs. Drinks break. Stop the clock. Do you know what? I kind of do. I need this as well. Right. I need that. But look, it's if you want to come on to the onto. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on for this evening. I just wanted to do this live Q&A and just address some of your questions as soon as I see them, that kind of thing. But look, the season tickets I think is a farce. Not the season tickets, the season ticket renewals I think is a farce. But I'm not sure if they could have found the right way to do it. I don't think there would ever been a right way to do it. We live in crazy times, of course, but maybe a suspension of season tickets, maybe something until they actually started games proper. I know because of Premier League and the clubs are kind of waiting for the government to make their decision on mass gatherings as well. What that means, going into a shop and everything is completely different to actually, going into a big, large event. Football is one thing, but if you consider like cinemas and theaters and things like that, they're the ones that are really going to have mass problems, especially theaters, because you need to pack them in for them to pay. If you're not packing them in, they're not going to survive. And you can't pack them in because, well, there's social distancing. So that's really, they're really going to suffer. It's the same with football as well. You're going to have to pack them in. The only teams who be able to do this would be lower league teams. Lower league teams will be able to say to their fans, right, we're going to spread you all out. We only get 10,000 max, 3,000 or 4,000, whatever. We're just going to have you spread all around the stadium or the stands or whatever. That's where it is. Words and pictures. Here we go. Club needs fans, yes, but they will be favouring virtual fans around. Stadium fans are out of date fans. Do you know what? It's almost like we're looking into the future self of being a West Ham fan, isn't it? We're there now. We're all watching on our TV screens or our computers or whatever it is, or on our phones, and we're all watching from afar. It's almost going to be a bit like that, isn't it? It feels weird. I mean, you don't want that to happen again, and we all go on too long. But until this is all sorted out, until they've got some kind of vaccine or some way of controlling this properly, as opposed to social distancing, I don't know. I mean, look. Walter Tanner, the club needs the ticket money for working cash. Yeah, they do. That's as I said, they need your money or our money. That's what they need. But they also need match day stuff. From sales of drinks, alcohol, whatever, and food. I mean, they need all of that. Every little helps, and especially down the lower leagues that you go, that money is so vitally important. That's why the lower leagues didn't want to restart the season. They just wanted to end the seasons as it was because they knew they couldn't get the fans in. Therefore, they weren't going to get any revenue, but they would still have the costs of putting the games on. Therefore, it was no point in them carrying on. However, Championship and certainly Premier League, they could still host the games because they're still getting all the TV money. And it all comes down to money at the end of the day, isn't it? Money, money, money. That's what it is. But look, I mean, let's move on from this. Let's talk about the cash flow, shall we? Let's just talk about the club. Why Gold, Sullivan, and Brady? Leave Brady out of it for now, Lady Brady. Why? What about Gold and Sullivan? Why do they appear to the fans to be mismanaging the club? What is it that they're doing? What is it that they have done that tells the fans you don't know what you're doing? Because I personally think that they're just out of their depth. That's what I think. I think they're out of touch with what modern football economics, and I think they just can't get to grips with it. I think the Premier League is just such an odd thing. You almost need a multinational company behind it to fund it as some kind of plaything, but as one or two owners to manage and fund a club, it's a very hard thing to do. I think Gold & Sullivan, their level is probably Championship League One. That's where their level is. I just don't think they have the resources. That's why they're always trying to scrape some money together. That's why they're giving loans to the club and they want those loans paid, and all this kind of stuff. And we know there's lots of, shenanigans going on behind the scenes. But their mismanagement comes from a lot of it ineptitude, I think. And a lot of it is not of their own making, or a lot of it, but I'm sure a lot of it is. But let us know your thoughts on that. Let us know your thoughts. Look, here we go. Look, Anthony. Will we sell Declan Rice? I mean, this is an interesting one, and I was going to talk about that because Declan Rice is obviously our Hammer of the Year, isn't he? Where is he? Look, there we go. Look, Hammer of the Year. Look at that. As I say, he was. I saw some of the player stats earlier on. I don't know if I've still got them here, but he was basically he's played every game. He's played over 3,000. Here we go, by the numbers here on the club website. You can look at this right now. Here we go. I'm just trying to think here. So Declan Rice led the way in appearances. He has 39 appearances and he's had 39 starts, and minutes played 3,510, and was also the club's only Premier League ever present player as well. Amazing. Pablo Fornals made 39 appearances, but only 12 of those were as substitute. But Diop ranked second in starts with 35, Aaron Cresswell 33, and Mark Noble 32. I actually thought Mark Noble had played less games than he did. But there we go. And Haller actually had an interesting stat as well, that he'd had the most knock-ons in the Premier League. So I love to complain about Haller. It seems as if he's done quite well there as well. Look, I mean, Declan Rice, look, he's a lad in a generation, hasn't he? He's come through the ranks. Obviously, since he came from Chelsea, through the academy, you come through the ranks from us, and then he's just got better and better and better. It's whether we can keep him. Now, the thing is, it's whether we can keep him, but what would we sell him for? And right now, I'm not sure if there's a value in the players that there once was. Perhaps next season there will be, but right now, I'm not 100% sure. So if he if he is sold, how much is he going to be sold for? And if he is sold, how does that change the dynamics of the team? How does that change everything that West Ham play with right now? We've got to be looking at Souček to take over in there. We can't rely on Mark Noble, really. We can't always, we've got to be looking at Wilshere. Is he going to be fighting fit there? We'd have to have somebody to replace Rice. I don't think we've got anybody there. I've got nobody there to replace him. So we're going to have to go and spend that money to try and find one or two players that could come in to fill his boots. Then you look he is one of our prized assets who always performs most of the time, always performs, and has got always delivers 100%. But if you take the likes of Anderson, whether you like him or not, or Haller, whether you like him or not, they don't always perform, or most of the time they don't perform to the standards that we would want them to perform at. Therefore, they are a depreciating asset in football in terms and in financial terms, whereas Declan Rice is an appreciating asset. And it's whether we can hold on to Declan Rice for long enough for his value just to keep on appreciating, that we can offset that money coming in from him, if we did sell him, to pay for some other potential players who then become appreciating assets as well. Because that's what it's about. It's all about buying and selling players at the right time. Can we keep our best players? Well, historically, we've never really been able to do that anyway. So, right. Let's just get back in here. Let's get back in here into these comments. Here we go. Right. So I'm just going to go all the way back. Clara. No. Here we go. Right. Crikey, there's lots of you making comments here. Right. So, Anthony, if we didn't sell enough season tickets, we will sell our best player assets. I think we might have to. Walter Tanner, Red Bull. I don't think it's a Red Bull thing. I wish people would stop talking about this Red Bull nonsense all the time. And thing is, new owners coming in. Well, okay, let's just see when they decide to sell. Because if you know anything about big business and big business takeovers, it's not as simple as just somebody coming in, and buying out. Kate Johnson, Chris Smalling. Well, okay. Nathaniel Klein, Danny Rose, all get able players that would strengthen our back and will cost around 35 million. Chris Smalling, Kate Johnson, I think, is he not doing very... I thought he was staying put where he was. But there we go. I'm not so sure that... look, here we go from one of our guys, Kate Johnson. Do you think there was strength in the back line? I'm not 100% sure. Nigel, clubs should survive on the income they generate, not with the owner's wealth. Well, you would want the club, any club, to be self-sustaining. That's the point. But anytime you want the club to bounce, to go forward and jump, then it needs an injection of cash. Otherwise, that perpetual engine, if you like, it will just keep on churning at the same speed. And if everybody else is going faster and faster, the only way you can get faster yourself is to inject speed, inject cash. In our case, so yeah, look, in the best will in the world, that's never going to happen. That's why you need big investment from TV money as well. But you also need, if you want that 5% more, 10% more from your team to perform better, you're going to have to dig deep and spend extra money, I think. Clarence Buoni, Anthony Baker, why did you have to raise that point? That is a worry. You're spot on. Low ticket renewals because cash assets. Yep. Hammer of the Year awarded as a leaving gift. I certainly hope not. But look, that is the real worry. I think we've all been worrying about this for the last couple of years, actually. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? And look, there's no doubt that other teams are going to be looking at him. No doubt. Wayne Banner, need a new defense. Well, I wouldn't say we need a new defense. We need new players in defense. look, well, it's whether Bonner stays as well. How Diop was muted to be leaving as well. I think Arsenal were after him at one point as well. If that could be a growing partnership, then we've got to look at the reserves for Creswell or replacements for Creswell, Fredericks as well. We've got to look at, we've got to see where Johnson is as well. And let's start promoting from the under-23s as well. That kind of thing. I don't. When you say need a new defense, I don't think we need a complete new defense. I think we need to strengthen or just have a good reserve in there as well. Season ticket sales won't cause Rice to be sold. He'll only go if he wants to. I'm not so sure, Nigel. I'm not so sure. Well, okay. Yes, you're right. He's not going to be going unless he wants to go. That's absolutely true. But I think, we're dealing with professional players as well here, and professional contracts. I'm not sure if he would stay or go. Kay Johnson, all the internationals a few years ago and starting week in, week out would do them the world of good. Our backline is very weak. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Anthony. Here we go. I completely agree, Kay Johnson, but apparently I'm alone in saying we need to strengthen in the centre of the defence. Yeah, I mean, I would have the same remark to you as well. I said I don't think we need to replace a whole defence, but strengthen a defence and get good, able reserves. It'd be interesting about Balbuena actually. What we do about Balbuena. I thought when he first came in, I thought, wow, what a player, loved him. And then he went off the ball, and then he started he had one game, I forgot who it was against. He had an absolute howler of a game. And I thought, crikey, who have we bought here? Words and pictures. Rice leaving, Haller leaving. We buy defenders next season. We park the bus for 38 games under Moyes. Well, do you know what? I mean, as I said at the end of the game the other day, look, he's technically, I suppose, no matter what you believe or want to think about him, he has saved us from relegation. Great, yeah, I know, great. He says from relegation twice, but we've got to give him a season. We've got to give him a season. We've got to give him a transfer windows to see how he sets up, how he wants to attack. I think the players want to play for him. And I think, the likes of Rice, Nobes want to play for him. I think, Antonio is flourishing under him as well. Bowen, Souček, they've come in. These are Moyes acquisitions as well. Let's just see what his plan is. Let's just see if he wants young, hungry players from the Championship, quality, potential players to come in to really give us a big boost. That might be great. Then we may lose the quality that we sometimes need. But I don't know. We should make him captain for the season. I'm not sure. I'm not. He's definitely captain in waiting. Definitely captain in waiting. For me, club captain will always be Mark Noble until he decides. But he's got another couple of years now, hasn't he? Walter, you have to say in that way, at least we are happy because at least you know who's running the club and who to. Okay, bit chat. Unlike a few other clubs who have. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure what you're on about there. Sorry. Right, hold on. Crikey, all the comments are coming in thick and fast here. Right, here we go. More players. Is Troy Deeney on our Jim Baker? There you go. Good evening, sir. Is Troy Deeney on our hit list? I think that says everything, doesn't it, Jim? That says everything. We've got Tumbleweed there. Nobody was saying anything there. People were saying, no, not Troy Deeney, not Troy Deeney. But I tell you what, Troy Deeney would give you that bull up there. He would give you goals. Yeah, I mean, he's not a West Ham player. I know that, but I'm saying, he would do that. Look, we need to have players come in and replace players, but we also, I was saying that in one of the games recently, said, look, our starting 11 should be on paper a match for anybody. And I think we're almost there with a few tweaks, so we're almost there. Our sub bench should be a lot better and perform a lot better, but they're not. So we do definitely need to reinforce, definitely. Vinny, yeah, Red Bull can make you hyperactive. Well, they can make you do a lot of things as well. Anthony, Oggy, Diop, and Balbuena are not strong enough. You know, I always had my doubts about Bonner. You know, he came from Juventus as well. You know, he obviously had honours there, but he went missing a lot. But this season, I think it's probably, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I think this is probably his best season for us. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is our best season for us, but I could be wrong there. There we go. Right. There we go. Anthony's totally disagreeing with you how Ogbonna should get Hammer of the Year. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't convinced by that argument. I thought he was doing really well. I was also, you know, I wasn't convinced by people saying Antonio should get it because he scored a few goals right at the end of the season. You know, he would be one of our better players, of course, you know. Look, Wayne Banner, here we go. Thank you for joining us. I didn't recognize your name, but thank you for joining us. We concede every game, and yeah, all good teams build from the back. Yeah, I agree with that, actually, Wayne. I agree. And I think Moyes agrees with that as well. That's why when people start slating Moyes, let's not forget, and any sort of defensive-minded coach like Allardyce or whatever, but we could go back for, you know, managers throughout history. You know, all the better managers always had a decent defense they built from the back, and maybe that's what we need to do. Look, yeah, we're conceding way too many goals, year in, year out. Actually, well, I mean, we've never been that great, really. Let's face it. But certainly the last 4 years, certainly the London Stadium, it's been shambolic. I think Anthony was putting up some figures here: 68 this year, 62 this year. We conceded 55 last year, 68 the year before, 64 the year before that. It's just rubbish. And 51 last season at Upton Park, which isn't great as well. Let's not forget the last season at Upton Park, we had some, towards the tail end of that, we had some, you know, not great overall score lines as well, because we were still letting in goals. That's what I mean to say. Oh, here we go. Don't start with we need a Reed type defender. We need a forward driving defender, I think. Yeah. Kane Johnson. If Anderson was a boxer, he would be scared of getting hit. The physicality of Premier League is an issue for him in his mind. If we can adjust his mindset, the qualities there. Look, there's no doubt. I totally agree with you. There's no doubt he is a fantastic player. No doubt. No doubt in my mind, and probably a lot of other fans' minds, that he should not be played isolated where he has been on the left or allowed to run. He should be in the middle of the park. That's where he should be. But I agree. I just don't think he's strong enough. I don't think he's fully up to speed with the Premier League and the way it is, you know. But there we go. Jim, Alf, he is tough up front like Antonio. Who are we talking about? I missed that one, Jim. Sorry. I could be talking about that. Right. Hello, Twin Irons United. I don't think you're real. Yeah. Only just joined in. Mark Santry, good evening. Good evening. How are you? And come on, you Irons. Exactly right. Anthony's getting sick from the Ogbonna comments. Look, there's a lot of love out there for Ogbonna as well. But Anthony wants to go for the full Reed thing. Oh, I don't think so. Old Thinker Tube. That's a cool name. This season, last season, were Bonner's best. Yeah, not season. Not so sure about that. But this season, yeah, he had a dreadful season or two before that. Yeah, definitely. I actually thought he was going to leave last season. Yeah, or the season before. I thought he was going to be, you know. There we go. What's my dog's name? My dog's name is Brutus. No, it isn't. It's not Brutus. It's Bailey, actually, would you believe? I've really got lovely cool pictures of him somewhere when he was a puppy, just like that, and now he's like that. I have to lift him everywhere because he's a lazy little git. But there we go. Right. Here we go. Oh, Mark. I think Bonham was good this season. Brilliant there up until the restart. Then we had 4 or 5 players that really shone. Rice was amazing. Yes. Bowen looks quality. Antonio, practice finishing. You know what? It's interesting you say that. That's exactly what I've been saying as well. He's actually been able to find the target. He's hitting things on target. He's hitting the ball cleanly and he's hitting it on target. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Okay, Irons United, the alter ego Irons United, is not us. That is not us, by the way. So maybe you need to change your name there. Where does Yarmolenko fit into the team or squad? I think he fits in very well. I'm a big fan of Yarmolenko. I'm not 100% sure that he's a starter for us with Bowen there, but I certainly think that he's a player. I've always wanted to see Yarmolenko on the left. And just use his left foot straight in, to put crosses in. We're still not very good at putting decent crosses in, and we're still not very good at meeting those crosses, although you would think Hallow would be up there. But I think, we have been improving, definitely, under Moyes, and certainly since... apart from the first two games after restart, those games that we had after that, there was a general improvement. So a Noble was good at the 10 role, although I wouldn't keep him there. Mark, I'm not sure what I think about Mark Noble, because I think he can be one of our best players. He can deliver one of the best performances, and he helps to keep things ticking over. Also, he's always looking for a forward pass as well. He was doing that, when we were struggling, when Moyes was last in there, and he was feeding and out of it a lot as well. Right now, Noble, Rice, and Souček, they're working this kind of little triangle system where one is dropping, two are pushing on, and they're kind of rotating it through. So they've got a good working relationship there. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how often Mark Noble plays, and if he has a poor run of form, then who do we put in there to replace him? There we go. Mark, here we go. Yarmolenko's an impact player. I think he is. I think, when the games where he's done really well is when he's come off the bench. The games when he hasn't done so well as when he started. So, right, words and pictures. Irons United. I don't know what that is. Water boy. Where does Mark Noble fit in next year? Well, I think I've already answered that. Yeah, I think he's going to keep on coming on, and doing whatever. Jim, he says, Alf, did you see my helmet stand from your show? Yes, I did, Jim. I love the craftsmanship there. Very good. Well done. I'm glad it worked out for you. Yeah, I've got quite a few more coming out as well, actually. So, Haller reminds me of an American NBA player. Old Thinker Tube. Here we go. Haller reminds me of an old American NBA player jogging about with very little hustle, expecting to make it up with 1 or 2 moments of brilliance. Do you know what? I absolutely, completely, and utterly agree with you. But then I saw the stats that he's got the best knockdown rate of any player in the Premier League. So I'm just wondering, I've just noticed how dark I am in here. Crikey. I'm just wondering, if I turn towards the light a bit more, if it's about how we play him, again, it's about getting crosses into him, getting high balls onto him. Are we going to exploit his ability to use his feet? Are we going to get players in around him, so he can knock balls down and then just turn and go, that kind of thing, so anyway. Look, somebody says, would you like an advert break? I don't know, how long have I been going on for? I've been rabbiting on for hours and hours. I think people have started to watch this, and then they've left. They thought, Alf's just going off on one. Well, if anybody knows. Right, I am back from that well-deserved rest. Wow, that was amazing. It's almost like half time. It's half time. I had a few oranges, and that's it. I was straight in there. Right, should we get back into the chat, or should I talk a little bit more about? Look, I had a whole thing. Look, that's planning for you. I had a whole list of things. I tell you, one of the things I want to talk about. I mean, this is not a transfer show, so I'm not going to be talking about transfers and everything, but which players do you think we need to get rid of? And which players do we desperately need within the West Ham squad? Now, I'm not saying that we should be disrespectful and say, let's get rid of all our players that we don't want. But I'm saying, are there any players, the comings and goings, who's going to, there's always going to be those people out there, and you know who they are. You know who they are. That will tell you, oh, look, we know who's coming in. This player's going to come in. This going to, the so-called, know-it-alls of the West Ham world or any footballing world. I certainly, I'm not one of those. I've never claimed to be one of those. In fact, I'm always in the dark. And that, in fact, most of the time, I've got to say, hand on heart, I'd rather just wait until it's officially announced. It would be nice to find out about these players, but the problem is there's so many rumors about players. There's so many he said, she said things, lots of speculation. Any player. I mean, I went to see, was it last season? I went to see a couple of players. Or was it right at the start of the season? I went to see Reading play because I knew they were playing QPR. I wanted to see how bad Hugo was again, but also wanted to see that Eze. And I was doing a bit of scouting, not for the club, just from my own mind. I wanted to go and see what he was like, and he was all right. He wasn't. He looked like a young, naive player to me. He wasn't that great, so he didn't have a great game. But people are talking. Yeah, we've got to have Eze here. Well, why? Why have we got to have Eze? He's not that. He's all right. But but then it looks as if somebody was saying earlier on that he's might have got an agreement with Crystal Palace. Well, I would say let him have him. Let them have him if if they want him. He might be great, but I don't know. But anyway, right. Let's get some more. Let's get some more here. Lanzini needs to go. Red Fontaine. Do you know what? If we can get some money for him, yes, definitely go. But he had some nice touches the other day, actually. But again, it comes down to end product. And I think, I'm going to be a real pragmatist when it comes to football in the next couple of seasons, certainly for West Ham, because I think we've tried to bring in these flair players, these talented players, these world-class players. It just hasn't worked. It just the balance of the side was never quite right. So I think we need to look at that. Ayeti's looking, as they want to move him on as well. But what does it say here? Rumor has it that Ayeti is not back Celtic. Well, it'd be interesting. West Ham, Dalek Emperor. I love that name. We should get Josh King. Yeah, Jim, you say I rate King. Yeah, I do. I rate him as well. Just because words and pictures, just because you don't think they are after you doesn't mean they aren't coming after you. Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Pete Chapman, I did hear the same irons. Yeah. I think there's lots of rumors and speculations about different players, and quite rightly so, because it's we're in between seasons, aren't we? But I think sometimes we start pulling names out of the thin air, don't we? So, oh yeah, we'll have him, and then it all seems to go around. The different YouTube accounts, different podcasts, and we all kind of talk about this stuff as well. But I don't know. I'm sure there are some people out there who definitely have their finger on the pulse, and I'm not one of them. But I'll certainly give my 2 pennies worth. I think I've always wanted us to be a club that buys the right player to fit in to the existing squad. I don't want us to be a club that just buys a player, a marquee player, because it's going to somehow appease the fan base. It's going to make the fan base think, yeah, we're buying, 40, 50, 60 million pound player. That's it. We're in the big league now. No, we're not in the big league. We've just spent over the odds for a player, and we have no idea whether they're going to fit into our style of play. Whereas if we bought 6 or 7, £5 million players or £10 million players, actually that would be a lot better for us. Maybe I'm way off base. I don't know. I just think sometimes, that we put a lot of faith in players that we don't know a lot about. Let's put it that way. We all get very excited, and I'm exactly the same. I'm not saying I'm any different. You watch our videos from the start of this season, then we were all making little videos about, Haller, he's going to be our top scorer, and Fornals, how great he's going to be. We're all saying that. Because we were all really excited. Look, we're West Ham. We're fans. We're football fans. At the start of it, we are football fans, West Ham fans. So we're going to get excited about these so-called players, but we didn't know anything about them. We just thought, oh yeah, he looks all right. Stacks looks all right. Yeah, he should do well for us. Yeah, where he played, they did all right. Well, as soon as they come to us, rubbish. Well, not rubbish, but you know what I mean. So they don't meet our expectations. So I think sometimes we've got ourselves to blame for this kind of false expectation that we have of these big marquee players that are coming in, this big money that we're spending on players, and these big astronomical wages that we're spending. And also, that's really upsetting. Going back to the cash flow, that's what's upsetting everything, isn't it? But look, there we go. Right. Do you feel... Here we go. Old Thinker Tube. Do you feel like teams have lately been instructed to kick our ankles and play the man, not the ball on us? Seems like our lads take a lot of kicks in the shins early and start forcing silly passes. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that, whether we're being targeted. But I tell you, no. I wouldn't say they've been instructed. Well, maybe, I don't know. But I'd certainly notice against Manchester United the other night, their left back, Williams, I think his name was really, and Bowen was getting kicked all over the park as well. And that's why he was a doubt for the Villa game as well. But he was really fouled. How he didn't get a yellow card, how he didn't get sent off for 2 yellows, not for straight red, for 2 yellows, I'll never know. But there we go. Yeah, I sorry, I've just seen your comment here, Anthony. Yeah, exactly. He was kicked all over the park. I don't think it was targeting him. I think it was just, just where it is, really. Rod Fontaine, agree. Players get players to fit. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what we've got to look at. We've got to look at West Ham as not being. It's almost like I tell you what it is. And maybe you guys out there who watch this, maybe you're watching this in the video later, whatever. But it's almost like, and this is what it comes back to, Gold, Sullivan and Braver. I think they're out their depth, that they just don't really know. They're mismanaging it, not because they've got some evil warlord kind of intentions over the club, but I think they just don't have a real grasp of what they need to do with the club. But it's like we're buying players just to appease the fans because they've made this promise that we're going to go to a new stadium and we're going to get a top 6. So it hasn't happened for a couple of seasons. They think, right, okay, we definitely need to buy players here and we need to get a top quality manager in, because we just need to get a top quality manager in and we definitely need to get big players in. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like we need to do it. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to give it to them. We're still going to try and do our bits and pieces behind the scenes, but we've got the names now. Everybody should be happy. Everybody should be happy that we're doing the right thing. Whereas I would respect them, full stop, if you like, you know what I mean? Not more, but I would just respect them just a little if they said to us as fans, say, right, this, and it comes back to who somebody said before, I think is Claret and Blue Army, I think it was. They said, talking about transparency, let's just have complete transparency. If they said to us, right, look, we're not going to go for a big time manager because we don't need one. What we need is just a good no nonsense manager. We've got David Moyes. We're going to stick with him. This kind of thing. I'm not saying David Moyes is the right manager for us. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, have some stones to actually come out to the fan base and tell us exactly like it is. Tell us what you're thinking. Don't bow down to popular demands. Don't bow down to think, okay, this might just work for a little bit. And also about the big players, and just say, look, we're not going to go and spend 40 or 50 million pound on a foreign player who's never played over here. Actually, what we're going to do, we're going to spend money on players from this country who know about the pace and the attitude and what's expected from the fans and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. But there we go. Walter Tanner, here we go. Hold on. Sorry, I've just flicked through a bit too many here. Here we go. We must remember Ferguson hadn't picked Moyes to take over United. So I think he's a good manager and did a good job at Everton. Built a very good team. I don't... He did well. He did well on poor budgets as well. So I think there were big times. I think he was sold down the river at Man United a bit as well. They weren't really backing him. But let's not forget that he also had a bad time there, bad time at Sunderland as well. There were lots of poor. People can come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh, we knew people at Sunderland, and they said he's just rubbish. He's lost the dressing room completely. All this kind of stuff." But you've also got to look at the attitude of the players as well. So it's never. Yes, the manager is there. It's about the tactical. It's about motivation. It's about management, man management. More so now than at any other time. It's about man and management. And it's about mollycoddling and cajoling players as well. But let's not forget the role of the players as well. They've got to take responsibility for what they do. Words and pictures. Yes, Walter. But in footballing terms, 2013 was a long time ago. Absolutely right. And this is what I'm saying. The role of the manager, head coach is changed now. Has changed. Thoughts on Lanzini? Well, I've got to think. If we can get money for him, go. But it's about what we can do as the team now. Keep a couple of flair players. Keep a couple of flair players who really want to make a mark for West Ham. Not make a mark for themselves, not make a mark for any other players, any other teams that may come in for them. Actually that want to play for West Ham and want to do well for West Ham. PN, I think Morelos from Rangers, the right price would be a good signing and do one of the Prem. I think right. He's somebody was talking about him the other day actually. I think he scored at the weekend as well, didn't he? Or he set somebody. I think he assisted somebody at the weekend. I think they've just started their season as well, haven't they? Yeah, great place. He's got a bad record though, hasn't he? Unless Gerrard has sorted him out this season, but he had an atrocious disciplinary record last season. So and that's a problem. That kind of antics could really cost us, But yeah, Bowen got a rough ride at Man United. Yeah, he did. Definitely did. I think Lanzini will move on. Yeah, Jim, I think he might actually. I think some other play. I've got a feeling he'd be more suited to a continental game, a Spanish league or something like that. Would he go back to Argentina? I don't know. Talk to me about Diangana. Yeah, our alter ego here. You really need to change your name there. Talk to Diangana. Okay, I'll talk to you about Diangana. No, Diangana. It's a great season for West Brom, of course. Look, it really depends. I mean, Moyes wants to bring him back, doesn't he? It really depends what Moyes will do with him, whether he'll let him go to West Brom, whether West Brom want to buy him. You never know. And I think from West Brom's point of view, they need to buy Diangana. They need to buy him. From West Ham's point of view, they need to think, right, how can Diangana fit in to the West Ham that we want to build and go forward with? Yeah. Tone, what do we need more? A right back and a left back and a back at centre, central defensive midfield. Yeah, we definitely need, for me, if central defense is not our strongest, I grant it, but I think definitely left back, and we definitely need somebody there, left back and right back. We definitely need. Now, do we look at those two positions, say, okay, we need 2 new starters, or do we need 2 new players that that are better backups for the ones that we've already got? That's open for debate, of course. Old thinker tube. A few seasons ago, when Lanzini would get the ball, I'd have a feeling of calm, like it was going to stick to, and he'd advance the play. His first touch is still excellent, but he's lost his flair. Yeah, he's lost something. You're absolutely right. And I think when he played the other day, when he came on, he had some really nice touches. It's just not. It just hasn't worked for him for a while. Rod Fontaine, Lanzini was outstanding in his first season. Yeah, absolutely right. When he got injured playing for Argentina, do you know what? Absolutely right. He was on a roll there. He scored a great goal. I've said this before. He scored a fantastic goal against Italy. I remember, and then he got injured, and then it was, terrible. Right, so here we go. Jim Baker, Rangers fans unhappy at Morella's move. France seems his new destination. Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look, again, there's lots of players that we could be linked to, of course. I'm not so sure Morella's would be a good match for us, but there we go. I'd keep Diangana. Old thinking tube. I think you're right. I would as well. I think I would. Here we go. Rod Fontaine, we need 2 new starter fullbacks. I think, possibly. I'm undecided about Fredericks, I've got to say. I think sometimes he does some great games. I love Fredericks' pace. I love his pace when he goes bombing forward, and then also. Creswell, he has some solid games and he has some great games, but he also has some poor games. But that's just anybody as well. There's nowhere to hide in defense. There's nowhere to hide being a goalkeeper as well. You can have shocking games in midfield, but you can kind of get away with it a little bit. Same with being a striker. You can have a shocking game, still get away with it. We got one here. When skies are grey, welcome. Would King from Bournemouth be a shot? I think he would, actually. I think those kind of no-nonsense forwards, I think they would do better for us. If we are going to say that, if we are going to lose the likes of Haller and Anderson, or we're going to say to Antonio, right, thanks for getting up there this season, but we don't want you there. We need to get proper strikers in there. We're going to put you on the left or the right or whatever, but we need a good central striker, centre forward. Then those kind of players would do it. They've played the Premier League. They've had really good success. They could come into a Moyes West Ham, I should say, not a Pellegrini West Ham. I don't think they would be any good at all. But a Moyes West Ham, I think they would work well because, in many ways, there's lots of similarities between Moyes on a good day, an attacking Moyes, and Eddie Howe on when he was able to, do things as well. But there we go. Look, I think we've broken out 1 hour and 15 minutes. Let's keep asking questions. Well, please do. Look, I'll tell you what. Look, I'll give it another 10 minutes. If I'd started earlier, I'd probably go on for about 3 or 4 hours. But look, I'm sure you've got better things to do with yourselves as well. But I think we've covered quite a few things tonight. We talked about season ticket renewals, haven't we? Yeah, third option, whatever you want to do. I'm going to recap here. I'm not 100% sure on the whole season ticket methodology right now of renewals. I don't think it's whatever they do, it's not going to work. It's not going to be the right thing. I think they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I think the biggest thing which they always seem to not get right is fan relations. Fan relations. They don't seem to keep fans happy. There's always something to upset us. And and not only have the board and the club, not just the board, we can't just say it's the board, it's the club. Everything within the fabric of the club, it's not really keeping us happy, and they kind of feed us little things every now and again just to keep us happy, but they're not really keeping us happy. But the one thing that you could say that should really keep us happy, or kind of make us forget, or give us short-term memory loss, about how badly we're treated as West Ham fans, should be from performances and from a really good, strong finish in the season. But we haven't got that as well. We haven't had that for since year dot at the London Stadium, have we? So it's been poor all around. Cash flow chaos. Look, I think there is. I think there's mismanagement throughout the whole club. I think the way it's financially structured, I just don't think it's right. We should be in a much better position than we are. But the fact of the matter is, we've only got a certain amount of money in. There's not enough commercial revenue coming in. And also, we've still got a massive wage bill. So regardless of what we think, or what you think, what I think, we should be spending on players. If the money isn't there, the money isn't there. So therefore, you've got to look at, what are these right owners? Is it the right financial structure behind West Ham to enable us to go forward, to keep on climbing, to improve? I think they're just the right owners to keep us ticking along, never to go forward. That's why going to the London Stadium was all a pipe dream. It was never going to work because they don't have the financial clout, if you will, to realise that dream. They could realise that dream as a Championship owners or as a League One owners. Yes, they could realise that dream to a certain degree, but not as a Premier League team with the pressures of modern day football, the finances of modern day football. But there we go. Yeah, look, I mean, and this all comes down to this cash flow chaos, and they're also saying about we have to sell our better players to fund new players. Well, people might be hopping mad about it. Oh, we're a joke of a club. Well, that's because we haven't got any money. It's as simple as that. And people go on social media and their Twitter and they start saying this and that. There's lots of polarized opinions on places like that, and people love to have their say as well. But sometimes we've got to think this through. What's actually going on behind the decisions of the club? Why can't we spend this money? Why can't we buy this player? Why do we have to sell this player? It's because we're in a situation where no matter how much money we're getting in and how little we're earning from commercial revenues, that we're never actually going to be able to spend big money without some kind of financial cost a little bit down the line. That's why we're going to have to sell players. Business 101, people. Maybe Gold, Sullivan and Brady should learn a little bit about that as well. We talked about players, talked about Declan Rice, of course. I certainly hope we keep him, but I'm not so sure. OSB meets. Look, I mean, I don't know too much about the meetings, but all I would say is this: I know they've occurred. They always occur, and in principle, you would argue that they should be a good thing. Representation of a fan base, to have some kind of open dialogue with the club, representatives of the club. But it's always been, who's talking on behalf of the fans or the fan groups, whatever it is, and also what has been said, and why is that information not being made public? Why do we, as normal West Ham fans, why do we not know this information immediately? And that's what I want to know. If I wanted to know anything, I wanted to know transparency, and I want to know everything. And I want to know why do we have to have fan group meetings, consensus meetings, when actually a lot of this could be done right. Okay, you send out a questionnaire to every season ticket holder, every fan, let's say, or you put it on the website and you say, right, if you're a West Ham fan, whether you're a season ticket holder or not, there we go. Go onto the website. Let us know your thoughts. This is a questionnaire. Let us know what needs to be done. At least there would be data for them to work off the fan base. The fan base. The fan base has spoken, just like Hammer of the Year. The fan base has spoken, just like any other democratic vote. The fan base speaks. There we go. Anyway, and Gold Sullivan and Brave. Look, who knows what goes on behind, in the corridors of West Ham Power and what they get up to. But you got to ask yourself, what are they doing? But what will they be? I'm going to leave you with this. What will they be doing this time next year? Gold, Sullivan and Brady. Are we going to have another substandard season? Are we going to be anywhere below 10th? Because if we're anywhere below 10th next season and the season after and the season after that for me is a failure, because we should be bare minimum, we should be 10th. We should be higher than that. We were promised higher. We're promised better than we actually are. You can't always have promises. You can't always say, anything is a given. But, we should be doing a lot better. So they have an opportunity here to wash away all the crap for the last 3 years and actually start again and say, right, we've saved ourselves this season. We've managed to stay in the big pot of gold, as it were, that is a Premier League. We can keep dipping our hand into that. So I tell you what, let's just do this properly. And if it takes 2 or 3 years for us to just steady the club, build, get mid-table or above mid-table before we start saying let's try and go that one step further for Europe, I'd be happy with that. What I don't want to see is that we're here this time next year with Gold, Sullivan and Brady still giving us nonsense, behind the scenes, platitudes and excuses and all that kind of stuff. And you still got a fan base that is essentially really upset, really disgusted with the way they've been treated, and they've got to change. They either leave or they sort themselves out, but there's got to be a much more transparency between the club, them, the club, and us. Everybody needs to know more information as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, look, Gary Page, where's all the money? Well, I'll tell you where all the money is, Gary. I'll tell you where the money is. Well, actually, I can't tell you. I wish I could tell you. No, it's players' wages, isn't it? That's it. They're not earning as much as they'd like to think. They're not saying as much. Anyway, look, I'm being waved off here.
No, you're not. You're being joined.
Oh, he's being joined. Sorry, I was talking to the camera, not listening to and not looking at the screen. There we go. Right. Anyway, I've waffled on for way too long. Anton, are you come to save me? Are you come to get me with a shepherd's crook and pull me off stage? Go, get off.
No, Alf, I've just realised there's loads of questions and there's really good ones actually you've missed. So what's your pre-game ritual? I know your voice is about to go, but what is your pre-game ritual? From this fake account.
Well, my pre-game ritual. Okay, if you're talking about me going to a game, my pre-game ritual would be going to the supporters club, meeting up with the boys, obviously taking my lad, and we either have a couple of drinks, a bite to eat with my lad before the game, and and then we just go into the match. That's what I normally do, don't we? Yeah, we always have a meet up beforehand.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do that now. If you're asking me what my pre-match ritual is now, I don't know. It really depends. I'm usually just rushing around all over the place. I usually just make the game as it starts, and I'm watching on the computer or whatever. So,
another good question coming in from this fake Irons United account. What got you into West Ham YouTube?
What West Ham YouTube, Anton? Simple answer.
Oh yeah, I suppose actually, technically, yeah.
Anton got me here. That's right. I was too busy. I was too busy doing other stuff. Before Irons United, I was never doing any YouTube Well, I was doing a little bit of YouTube, but yeah, certainly not football. I was more of a writer. I'm more of a writer than anything else. But then I've kind of abandoned the writing and I've just gone on for this now.
Hold on a second here. Hold on.
But there we go. Yeah. But it's Anton. Anton got me into this.
Where's all these questions? This loads here. People asking about Josh King. I think you said that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd have him. Yeah.
Yeah, I would absolutely have him. I just don't think we could afford him.
I think a couple of those players, quite a few of those players from Bournemouth actually, I'd have him. Ake.
Yeah, but I think is he not already in talks with clubs throughout England already?
Right, okay. Oh, well, he'd be a good buy. He's definitely a good player.
I think Josh King's already linked to Man United, etc.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Let's see here. What's this? Oh, that's me.
Oh, words and pictures. Thank you very much. Good work, Alf. Top stream. I shall allow you to stream for me again. There you go. See now. So somebody else actually said, was it last week? You say always listen to Alf. Somebody said that on one of the watch-alongs.
It was David Moyes.
Was it David Moyes? He said always listen to Alf. If you ever watch our watch-alongs, I was always phoning up Dave on the touchline, or Alan Irvine, actually saying, look, Dave, sort yourself out, make the subs. And usually he'd ignore me, but there we go.
I don't know if you've seen it, but in different countries in the world, and in particular up in Scotland, they're actually charging fans to stream every particular game. So do you see that being an option?
Right. Okay. So I remember when the first talking about the restarting of the season, and I know a lot of championship clubs, they use this system called I follow, where you can watch the game, they'll stream the game, and you pay an annual subscription. So it's basically just getting your team. You can watch your team from anywhere in the world. So, and if that's a paid service, and I always thought this about it, because obviously Premier League and Championship, they got the TV money, so they're not going to be able to do it. But if that game is not being shown domestically, then why can't there be some kind of system where you can actually pay for that, pay for access to it? So I would pay for it. Yeah, I would pay if let's say if I can't get to West Ham games for whatever, a midweek game, a cup game, or whatever it is. I would want the club to be able to offer me a video stream. It doesn't have to be best commentary. You can get somebody out of the kitchen department or whatever to come and do the commentary. I don't care, as long as somebody's telling me what's kind of going on, and there's somebody with with some kind of camera just following the ball along. That's all we need as fans. That's all we need. If you can't get to a game, and if that means that we pay some iFollow thing, 20, 30 quid a year or something to do that, so be it.
What about I know you've been on for so long, so we'll come off very shortly, but there's a couple of more quick questions. Yeah. I'd take Mitrovic.
You know what? Yeah, somebody was talking about this the other day. We kind of talked about Mitrovic a couple of years ago, didn't we? Whenever Fulham went down, and they said, well, should we get him then? The problem is he's a bit of an awkward player, isn't he? He kind of ambles along, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of, gumph in him. But at the same time, he gets goals. So I suppose the question I would ask, and it was what the point I was making in the stream, would he fit into the West Ham team that Moyes wants to build and play? Or is it just another name that we think, let's just get him? Is he better than Haller? I don't think he's better than Haller, but I think he's better than Haller, who's off form.
But this is probably where the problem's going to be stemming from, because we're now at the stage where we're potentially talking about selling Haller, and relying. What we're probably going to do is go into next season relying on Antonio, or what I hope we don't do is go into next season relying on just Antonio.
Yeah.
If we can somehow manage to keep Haller and bring in a player who can play with him, and I honestly think Mitrovic could be a player that could play with him. I mean, he's got everything really. Alf, he does score goals. He's not completely prolific in the Premier League, But let's not forget he's played with Newcastle when they were struggling and Fulham when they were relegated.
Yeah.
And I think he's got over 30 goals in about 70 something appearances. So he scores nearly 1 in 2.5 games, which is prior to Antonio hitting form, is more than in what we were doing.
Yeah, but his last season for Fulham in the Premier League, I think he got about 10 or 11 goals. I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't remember, but he can score. But what I'm saying is this is interesting thing. So if Haller goes, would you buy a Mitrovic to play alongside Antonio or with Antonio or instead of Antonio? And the thing is, actually, if you can get him for decent money, that might not be a bad way to go. Whilst that might not be great for our attack, if that allows Moyes to focus on strengthening the defense and making us a better defensive unit as opposed to always leaking goals, then I think actually for a season that might be a good plan. Absolutely.
My point only really is that the fact that I really am worried about West Ham selling a striker again. I mean, I think for the last 4 seasons we've had signed a player and then sold him the following season or the following 2 seasons. It's just not worked out. But we don't play to the. I think you had a question earlier on. I don't know if you've seen it. Actually, it was on Anderson. It was is Anderson being mismanaged or is he just being shit?
Well, I think a bit of both, but I also think that he's never been played in the right position for his talent.
So the point I would say then is, do we think that players are being mismanaged? And players like Haller, like someone's even writing in here in the comments, they're saying, what's the point in keeping Haller if we don't play to his strengths? Well, what player do we play to the strengths from?
But we've also got to look at this situation now, is that Moyes has come in. And it's not his squad. It's not his squad apart from Bowen and Souček. Yeah. It's evident that he hasn't really had a lot of faith with Haller, with Anderson, and with Lanzini as well. If we're going by that alone, that tells me 2 things. One, Moyes is not going by what's on paper. He's actually going on performances and what he's seeing on the training ground and what they can bring in terms of effort. But also, he's also tells me, actually, I don't need these players. I just need somebody who's an able substitute for the players that are doing well for me. So maybe they're ready to go.
Listen, Alf, there are plenty more comments, but I think you have done a marathon tonight.
Okay, Foshizu, Vertonghen, would we take? Somebody said, would it take Vertonghen? I can't remember in there. Somebody back here. Somebody asked. No, it was Forever Blowing Bubbles. Hello, mate. How are you? Yeah, nice to see you. Would you take Vertonghen if he's available on a free? A free. I wouldn't pay for him on a free.
No, for me, he's a no for me. He's a complete and utter no.
But he had a couple of great seasons this last season, and actually the season before under Pochettino, he wasn't doing well, was he? But under Mourinho, he started to play well. Actually, their defense was all over the place, and he started to play well. I'm not so sure I would actually. But again,
you know what, Alf, he's not what we need in the centre half. We do need someone to come in and really shake up that back line. I know I've been in the comments tonight and I'm saying a lot of things potentially against Augie. Listen, I'll give credit where credit's due, but I just can't give credit where credit's due when the defence are leaking goals and are at fault for a lot of the goals. I'm saying that Augie stepped up. I don't know if any of that defence has stepped up. I'm not just going to single him out completely, but I just don't think a player like Vertonghen is going to come in here and really sort out our defence. What I need to think about is that Diop's a young lad. Do I think it'll be at West Ham for his whole career? Absolutely not. Well,
I would be surprised. I'll say this. I would be surprised if he stays with us another season.
Yeah.
Diop.
Well, if Diop does go, say in the summer, I think it would be a bad move by West Ham.
Yeah, it would.
The reason why I'm saying that is because I do think he's got potential, and I think he would become a better player and potentially find a better club if he stayed with us for another year. Augie is on a longer contract. He's a bit more seasoned. I don't think he is. I think he is capable of a calamity, and I think we'd get decent money for him. But my point I'm trying to make is I don't think we want to sell a central defender. I think we need to strengthen someone to come in and really challenge those three that are there.
What about Balbuena? Would you keep him?
Well, I don't think we can afford to sell a centre half. To be honest, if I'm being brutally honest, I think we need.
If out of those three, whilst I do like him, I would sell Balbuena if it meant that we've got to fund getting another player, sell to pay in.
It just depends how much we'd get for Balbuena.
I don't think we get a lot. That's the thing.
The value will come in the order, that pecking order and value would come from Diop, then Augie, and then Balbuena.
Yeah, but we've also got to think about, it's not just the value of them in terms of transfer fee. We've also got to think of the value or the cost saving in terms of salary, wages as well.
Well, I mean, I'd be intrigued to know. I'm assuming Balbuena's on a lower salary than Augie and Diop. I reckon Augie's probably, due to the fact he's been there for years now and he signed that new contract, potentially on a bigger contract than even. For me personally, I do think it's time for Augie to move on, but I don't think we're going to be in the market.
Yeah.
Augie, to be honest.
Look, I mean, I said it right at the start. He's made it perfectly clear that's where he wants to strengthen. He wants to sort out the defense. We're always screaming out defense. We, on our sort of private chats, we're always talking about defensive errors and goalkeeping errors and all that sort of stuff. That's our background anyway, so we kind of know that. We look at that quite a lot. So for me, if Moyes wants to strengthen the defense and he kind of sacrifices other areas of the pitch to do that, but it makes us a stronger defensive unit, and that's something he can build on, he has my support for that.
Yeah,
I would definitely do that.
I suppose before we go again, the last question. Should we call this one the last question?
No, he won't. He won't ever play for us again. Reed will never play for West Ham again. So, in case anyone thinks I think he will, I don't think he will. So that's not the last question, by the way. Okay, sorry. I think he might, but I don't think he will. But the key thing I'm trying to make, my only point I'll make now over the Reed debate or whatever, is that since he has been injured, we've missed a player of his quality in that back. Yeah, we have. Literally simple. If you look at all the errors that West Ham make in the back, I feel our fullbacks haven't been great, but they do get a lot of the crap. They do get a lot of the crap, and I think what was the game we conceded? Was it what? No, Watford, was it 4-1? I can't remember. Conceded recently. Ball went through the central defence, but a lot of people were calling on Diop for his positioning, but in actual fact, it was the two of them. It was It's not. The thing is, when we concede, it's as clear as day. A lot of it is poor position. They get themselves caught out. They're flat-footed. They're not really fully aware. If you take Noble, Souček, and Rice right now, the last sort of 3 or so games, the way they kind of got a really good understanding of each other, where they're playing, one's dropping, one's going forward, one's hanging off, and they're kind of playing this neat little triangle, but it's rotating. That's a really nice understanding. That's what we don't have in defense. No, there isn't that sort of automatic understanding of where, and we don't have an absolute leader in there in the center of defense who's saying, right, you there. There's no real director there. Yep. Diop is young. He needs somebody strong next to him. Whilst I'm really appreciative of what Ogbon has done for us the last few games in this sort of season, I suppose. But he's still, they're still both prone to errors. Moyes can see that. He's tried with Balbuena as well, but he knows that we've got to strengthen up there. He also knows left back and right back. We need to strengthen there as well.
100%.
Right. Anyway, I think that's time for me to.
Is that us done?
I don't know. What do you think? Should we carry on?
I'm happy. No, I'm happy.
You know, if I'd started at 7 o'clock tonight, I could have gone until 11. Now that would be a marathon show for you. You don't get that on any other channel. Oh no, you don't.
Make sure you do listen. Alf, thanks for doing that, mate.
That's all right.
You know, it's a marathon sitting there in front of for hours in front of the camera. I just thought I'd come in at the end and give you a little helping hand, just in case you were getting a little bit tired or whatever.
I was right. No, but I tell you what, I mean, everybody out there, if you're still watching and you want to watch future, I don't know what we're going to call this show, a Q&A show or ask Alf. I don't know, something like that. Whatever it is. I mean, you know, we're gonna. Unfortunately, I can't commit to a regular weekly slot time, so it's going to have to be as and when I can do it. So I'm not saying it's going to be a weekly show. I'll do something like this, but I certainly hope to do a lot more often. We did it once. Was it last season or the start of this season?
Start of the season.
Yeah, start of the season I did once. I kept on meaning to do it a lot more, and it will come right to the end of the season. I'm just doing another one. So hopefully, there you go. Oh, missed. Crap, bloody that. So hopefully we'll do a lot more. But hopefully you'll join in for more. And keep on sending you questions. So if you do want to come in and do what Anton's just done, just popped up and have a little video chat and talk to us about, whatever, for a couple of minutes, just get your point across. Yeah, we can do that. You just send an email to us and then we can send you the link, whatever. But you can come onto any of our shows as well. But as I say, this is about having your voice as well as just raising, discussions, really having a discussion, having a chat about certain stuff. Right. Anyway, I think I'm going to be out of here. But anything you want to say, Ant, before we go?
Nope, I'm fine. Yep, let's go.
Anything to say? But all we can say, keep the faith. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out in the next few days. Oh, our next shows. What's on tomorrow night? We got some more shows coming up.
I think we're trying to get a transfer special related to players incoming and outgoing. We're going to try and see if we can do it. It might be too short notice, so if it's not tomorrow, it might be the next day, and then on the back of that, there might be a transfer show tomorrow. So again, just to reiterate, when we do the transfer shows, we talk to you about players that potentially are rumoured to come to West Ham, and if they do come, what would they bring to the club? So we're certainly not saying they're going to be signing, but we're just giving you some stats, etc. So yeah, it's good, short, sweet, straight to the point video. But
so we got news videos, we got news breaking. We'll have breaking news videos. We'll try to. We'll have sort of transfer stuff. We'll have sort of latest club news, whatever. Yep. We'll have this kind of Q&A sort of session going on. As and when. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be hosted by me. It can be hosted by anybody.
Yeah, cool.
And we'll try and do the best we can for you. So, don't forget to subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Keep on leaving all your comments, but really appreciate it if just keep on spreading the word about Irons United. So we're only here to, talk about West Ham and share our opinion. We're fans first. As we always say, we're always fans. We're just trying to have a bit of a laugh, especially on our watch-alongs and stuff like that. We never take ourselves seriously. I think other people would like to think we take ourselves seriously, or probably other people think we should take ourselves seriously, but we don't. But anyway, so look, it's all about having a laugh, a light-hearted view about sometimes a very serious thing about West Ham. So hopefully we'll do better. We'll do better, and hopefully the channel will keep on growing as well, and get more of you guys, joining in on the live shows as well. And also, when we can eventually get back to watching games properly, we'll start getting back to our live link ups with fans in and out of the stadium as well, and all that sort of stuff. So as a channel, we do have lots and lots of plans But because we can't go to any games, we've had to kind of put everything on hold, if you know what I mean. But there's lots of stuff that we've been developing for a long time, and stuff that you won't have seen before, and stuff that we've been coming up with for a long period of time. So whilst we're a fan channel, we're also trying to do things completely different to anybody else out there as well. So we really are trying to do our own thing.
Cool.
That's it.
Excellent.
Right. Anyway.
Right.
But just subscribe, guys. Keep on watching. Subscribe. There we go. And that's it. Right. Oh, yeah. Somebody wants to transfer special. Yay! Yeah, so do I. I want to transfer special as well. Right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying till the end. Look, just go and have a nice hot cup of cocoa and go to bed. That's what we need to do. I'm going to go and have a whiskey myself, but there we go.